As you might have known, back in June, we launched our first Healing and Wholness service. Thinking of healing and wholeness as an aspect of spirituality, as an aspect of the spiritual process. I wanted to spend a little bit of time digging into that relationship between spirituality, healing, and wellness or wholeness. In Judaism, healing is not necessarily about finding a cure. It's not necessarily about coming to the other end of a sickness and never looking back. Rather, healing is about finding wholeness throughout the journey. The Hebrew word for sickness is choleh, which is linguistically correlated to words that have to do with emptiness. So the state of sickness then is often referred to as a state of spiritual emptiness. Our goal as we move through illness is to find ways to be filled, is to move towards that place of wholeness, a place of shalem. That word shalem might sound familiar. It's the same roots as the word shalom, or for peace. And so as that spiritual process is often about finding peace, so is the wellness process about finding wholeness. So we might ask how. The process of spirituality can feel really amorphous and very out there and difficult to root in our day-to-day practice. And yet, Judaism has many different paths that can offer some guidance into fulfilling that spiritual sense of wholeness. Ritual is one. We love our mitzvot, and not just the mitzvot that mean good deeds, although those are also important, but the mitzvot that are rituals that we practice habitually over and over again, like Shabbat, taking time to remove ourselves from the world around us. Study is another way in which we can find some spiritual wholeness, whether it's the study of Torah, study of inspirational texts, reading words from poets, listening to songs by musicians who tap into that thing that we're looking for, that sense of wholeness and connectedness. Prayer. As a rabbi, I love to remind people that prayer is a piece of this spiritual process as well. And finally, connection. Doing so either in the midst of community, finding ways to connect to other people around ourselves in ways that don't seem necessarily frivolous or social even, but ways that can enhance that sense of interconnectedness that help us feel more spiritually whole. Reish Lakish, a famous Talmud scholar, referred to Torah as black fire on white fire, that the words written on a Torah scroll in that black ink are as if black fire, these divinely inspired words coming from God. And then the white spaces in between are also as important because that's what we bring to Torah. That's the white fire that we fill with our own meaning. It's as if this spiritual practice, these rituals, prayers, group connection, study, that's the black fire on the page. And then what we bring to it, that sense of spirituality, of filling in those blanks, that's the white fire on the page. So we're going to continue exploring some of these topics of spirituality, healing, and wholeness on August 14th at 7 p.m. in Bellevue. I invite you to please join us for our next Healing and Wholeness service as we continue to ask these questions about how we can begin to move through whatever process of healing we need to while feeling a sense of wholeness.